I also want to stay on trade and bring in economist Danielle DiMartino Booth. The president says no trade deal anytime soon. How do you think this will impact the markets, which seem to be holding up okay this morning?
They have been. They've kind of been treading water, trying to figure out what the next big set of news is going to be. The European elections were obviously nothing like what was feared. There wasn't any major swings to one side or the other. But I would say that this, if the trade war, if we don't see resolution at some point, Charles, you know, you've been in the markets for years, as have I. Markets dislike nothing more than uncertainty, and this will act as kind of a constant drag the longer this plays out on GDP growth, on the upside potential in the financial markets. So this is not what we want to see. That's
why I find it ironic that the lows from that Sunday tweet have held up. Honestly, I thought it could have been a lot worse than it is. Perhaps the market really hopeful and believing still, Danielle, a deal's going to get done. I want to go to the next topic here with you. I want you to take a look at the title of this opinion piece. It's in the New York Times. Quote, Trump's formidable 2020 tailwind. Now, the author says that the economy could give President Trump a win next year. Do you agree with this?
Well, the author himself was the one that surprised me the most, being that it was Stephen Ratner. That kind of took me by surprise from the get-go. But he cited a Yale model, if you will, as well as 8 others that suggest that given history and what we know about incumbencies, that this is the 2020 election is one that President Trump, he'd have to give it away. Again, this is according to not just one, but 8 other academic models that are cited that simply say because of where we know where the economy is right now, that it is his election to lose.
By the way, there were also other studies, Moody's, and I got to tell you, Mark Zandi, I respect him, but I know he's left-leaning. He's looked at 12 different models, all saying President Trump should win. Don Luskin, who we're going to have on the show later, his work suggests that President Trump is going to win. And it reminds me of Australia, Danielle. The polls said that the conservatives were out, but when people actually had to go in the voting booth and make that decision, they stuck with a pretty strong economy, hasn't seen a recession in almost 30 years, and they didn't want to upset the apple cart.
That's the thing. If the status quo is working for the majority of Americans, the majority of voters are not going to want to vote in any kind of change. Not if they're seeing their incomes grow. Not if they're not seeing major disruption in the economy. Who would vote against such an environment? It makes absolutely no sense. That's why I think that the word tailwinds in the title of this particular column are so important because, again, these are things that should help propel President Trump to maintain the presidency in 2020. Right. Because who doesn't like a strong economy?
Well, it's not a rhetorical question, by the way, but we only have 3 hours to hash that out. Danielle, really, thank you very much. Always appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you.